Hello guys, good morning, good evening. We'll be starting in 2 minutes. We are waiting for more folks to join in. Thank you so much for joining. Yeah, Kaushik, we can start now.
Okay, so good morning or good evening, so wherever from you guys. So very warm welcome to the session first. So my name is Kaushik. I'm a SDET and I'm being a trainer for a couple of years now. And today we are going to not learn actually. So today we are going to what is the basic of SDAT, why we have to go with the SDAT, and why is there so many hype in the SDAT and what's going on the market, and why you have to join here to the DevLabs. So that is what the session is all about, and I hope you will get a clear picture of like how we are going to derive the all the syllabus and how we have derived all the courses materials and what are the benefits we are going to get from here. And kind request, you guys probably know that you guys are on mute, so if you have any queries please do ask in the chat section, so that I can see and reply back to you. And if anything regarding your the post fixed fees or something like that, so probably the non-technical side panels can address that, and anything regarding the technical probably I can handle that. Okay, so let's start with this. I think that's pretty much enough. So what is SDET and why it's there so much hype around it? Now, if you see in recent days, the SDET hype is getting very popular. And if you go to the Naukri website or any job portal, probably you know that nowadays people are asking for the SDET. They don't want just a QA engineer or the manual testers, and I don't like the term called manual testers, but we know the reality, right? So there are, of course, there is a team, manual team and automation team. So automation team in the sense they are gonna probably gonna work on the selenium side or the protector side or anything that's involved coding part. Now, manual testing teams, of course, they're gonna do it manually, which we are going to convert into this automation test script. So that is what our job. So that can be done by the QA engineers as well. So quality analyst or the assurance, technically they can also do the job by themselves. So why SDET in particular? The reason is nowadays we are mostly into the agile. I believe you guys are also working on agile. So if anyone working on agile, please do let me know in the chat. Maybe we'll get in we can connect these examples very easily, like why we want to get the our designation or a job as a SDET, right? Now we'll also talk about the global market, like what are the job opportunities and there, and of course we'll talk about here in India what are the pay scale we are going to get, everything. And also we'll see a live demo, like how the course has been derived or how we are going to give you the session and everything. Okay, And if you have any doubt in between, please feel free to ask in the chat. So probably I can just take a look and maybe I can reply you back. Okay. So what is SDET? SDET is nothing but software development engineer in test. That means in previous times, I mean, before, if you see before 2 or 3 years ago, we have these QA engineers who write the Selenium script. They can write it very well, and of course that's going to work for sure. The business uh, or the testing is going to give some benefits to the organization. That's absolutely fine. But nowadays, what happens is the in terms of business or in terms of the companies, people don't want to recruit only the testers. They rather want the testers to participate in the development side as well, right? So if you ask me, like I'm a QA engineer, and I was a QA engineer, and I have transformed to the SDET. Now my job role is just not to write the test script or build a test script and then execute that. Other than that, I also have to take care of the DevOps, where I will just check in my code in the GitHub, and then I have to trigger my Jenkins, and I have to do some like if the project is in large scale, probably you're gonna ask to maintain those in the cloud environment like the Azure or the GCP and AWS. So that's differs based on your project structure and the project organization, everything. Now, most of the product-based company, if you take like most of the product-based company, they do not have this QA as of now. They converted everything into the SDET. So software development is really necessary nowadays. So you, of course, you guys are maybe from the manual testing background, or even you might from working from a QA environment, but you want to learn more. So that's why you are. That's the reason you might be here now. I believe so, right? So of course we know what is software and what is this like how to do the maintenance or the testing and everything. Now, as a test automation engineer, we have the skill set to do the testing and also to write a script well. But apart from that, also, if we have the knowledge to develop something or to participate in the uh, testing environments, like building up the DevOps area where we can deploy some of the clusters and we can expand our scalability to run our test script, then the task is known as software development engineering test. So you are not only part of testing, but of course you are part of the DevOps and the development as well. So that is how in Agile it works, right? So if anyone working on Agile, probably they might get it very clearly that in Agile, each and every person role gets changed day by day, right? So they sometimes they're gonna act as a lead, and some another day they are gonna act as a scrum master. So that is how the Agile process works entirely, and this is how the market has evolved now. So if the market is getting evolved, of course we have to also get ourselves to fit into that, right? So of course for that we have gonna study this materials, like whatever the course content we are going to deliver. So that will definitely help you to, like if you are a QA engineer, probably you can call yourself SDET. And of course there is also benefits, so you will get high pay scale, and there are also some other benefits, like you will also get interested on the DevOps side. If you just want to move into the DevOps side entirely, probably you can do that, right? So moving forward, now why we need this after SDET? So as I said, like end-to-end automation. So no one just want the test engineers to do only the testing. They want the person who can do the test, who can do the deployment, and who can also contribute to the development. Now, when I say that in agile process, you have to do the development in the sense, of course, no one gonna ask you to write the HTML or the JavaScript or the build the application, entire application from them. No, not that the case. They wanted you to fit in the environment where you can do at least the DevOps integrations, like you can control the CI/CD, or you can just participate in some of the activities which are mostly focused for the DevOps teams or the developer teams. But when we become SDET, we are asked to do all those stuff as well, right? So that is how the SDET program is designed in such a way that you can do all the stuff by the end of the course. And of course, we know that there is increased demand. Customer demands are going to be very high, and each of the customers needs don't want to pay for the DevOps team separately, the testing team separately. So basically it's all about the pay scale, right? So if you're converted, if we are going to be the SDET, then of course you want to take both the tasks, right? And trust me, that are You might think that why I have to do two tasks at the same time, I'm not getting paid for. No, of course not like that. This tasks are going to be very, very small, and this is going to be very enjoyable at the work. So that is the one thing, so I have to make a note of here. Okay. And apart from this, of course, there are advanced technology coming up in the market. So you can see that regularly we are getting so many updates. Like we have the Selenium 4 version, which is in alpha currently, but we are expecting that to be get released in maybe in 3 or 6 months. So of course, when there is a new software update or the new library is coming up, of course we want to make sure that we are getting fit into that as well. So if the fundamentals are very clear, probably doesn't matter what we are going to get in the upcoming, then probably if a fundamental strong means, of course you can cope up with that, right? Now, what is the career path we are going to achieve by this course? So I assume that you are from manual testing background, or maybe as a QA engineer. Even if you are not from the testing background and if you don't know anything about coding, that's absolutely fine. I'm gonna take care of your coding part, so don't worry about all those stuff. What I need from you guys has to, you have to spend at least a hour so that you can also do the homeworks or whatever the task I'm going to give you. At least you can do it from your side. If you can able to follow those, of course I can say that in after the course in 2 or 2.5 months, you will also become like very colorful. You can go out and you can call yourself SDC and SDT, and you will be fit in the market for sure. Okay. So how does this going to work means, first of all, we are going to learn the programming language Java. Why Java means, of course, there are so many programming languages which supports the Selenium. But there are two reasons why we have chosen Java. The first reason is that Selenium, the actual Selenium code base has been written on top of Java. So the first, when the Selenium code base has released, they have used this Java programming language, and that is the reason we are going to use. And the second and foremost, the honest answer is, even if you now go to Google, I mean, go to Naukri or any job portal, you can see there are plenty of opportunities available with Java and the Selenium. If you have C programming language like the C# or JavaScript or Ruby or Python, of course there are demand, but not comparing as much we have in the Java. So that is the major advantage. You want to learn Java with Selenium. And of course, in the Selenium, we will learn about the advanced topic, not only the basic, like do some basic stuff. We will learn about the basic to the advanced, like the page object model, the cucumber, and we'll learn so many things in the Selenium itself. Okay. And then also in the DevOps side, we'll learn about the Git, Jenkins, and we also learn the tools like build tools like the Maven, and the unit testing framework like the JUnit or the TestNG. And of course, apart from the testing side, we will also learn from the API. Now, when we have a profile with testing, not only Selenium, with REST API, that is going to be more advantage. For example, let's assume that we are going to get into an interview in XYZ company. Now, in the company, let's assume that we are 10 people are going to attend. Now, you 9 guys are having a knowledge on Selenium. And then the 10th person I'm coming and I'm saying that, like, hey, I know Selenium and I know REST, and I know how the JSP works, and Sickle, I know the Spring Boot, I know the HTML, CSS. Then who is going to get preferred, right? Of course, me, right? So that is how we have to stand out, so out of the crowd. So if you know only Selenium, you can survive in the market, but you cannot get what is the actual capability you have. Like, you might ask for a package of, let's say that if you have a 2-3 years of experience and you are expecting around 8 lakhs of salary, but with the Selenium profile only, you cannot get that. I can definitely say you can get that. At least you should have one more added advantage. That can be the REST or the JSP or the Spring Boot or the SQL. If you know all those stuff, then that's going to be very added advantage for you. And of course, whatever the salary you're going to expect for 2 years or 3 years, up to 8, you can get it very easily. And of course, we have to give some effort. So I'm ready to make you that effort. I'm ready to teach you everything, and from the basic to the advanced, I can teach you everything. But if you are going to do the homeworks and whatever the classes we are going to take up, if you follow that, of course you can end up with 7 to 8 lakhs packages. In terms of India, I'm talking. If you are from abroad, then you probably know what is the pay scale in your country. So that's entirely different, right? Now, so this is what your career path is going to be like, from the HTML, from the basic Java to the basic of HTML to the advanced concept like the JSP or the Spring Boot or the Sickle. Everything will be covered, and of course we will learn the REST API as well. And in the DevOps, we will learn about the Jenkins, the Git, the Maven, and testing framework like TestNG, JNU. TestNG is very famous in, at least in the uh, testing environment, because testing is very easy. Even without writing so many codes, I can do so many things. Like you might have heard that your test cases want to be, if you have 1,000 test cases, you want to run all those stuff in the sequential and parallel, right? So this all stuff can be done with the help of TestNG. And trust me, in TestNG we won't write more than 5 or 10 lines of code, but still we can run our test script in sequential or parallel, or maybe in a bunch. We can do all the stuff. So probably if you join, probably you will understand like what is the power of TestNG and why it is very famous or powerful in the testing, right? Now we have this pay scale. So already I have talked about the pay scale, and let us deep dive into this. Let us understand how this pay scale actually like looks like here, right? So um, just these are just taken from the latest analytics from our team, and these are very accurate. At least 90% of accurate informations we are giving. So don't think that these are just numbers. These are actually written. Maybe if you want, you can check in the link, check on the LinkedIn. You will get the same result as well, right? Now SDET has this chart is basically, the upper chart is basically the global, and whereas this lower bottom is for the our Indian pay scale, right? So here you can see the information sourced from the payscale.com and the Glassdoor. Okay, so if you have 1 year of experience for the SDT, so 1 years in the sense zero to freshers, so freshers to the SDT 1 year of experience, you will get around 4.2 lakhs. And whereas if you are from 1 to 4, then probably you can get from 7.4 lakhs of salary per year. And if you are 5 to 9 years, then probably it's going to be double in 1 lakh something. You will get around 11 lakhs. So that's going to be huge, right? For testing, if you are getting that much, then of course it's very worth. And SDT is not about only the testing, as I said earlier. It's like more, we will have knowledge on the development side as well, the DevOps side as well. So it's going to be added advantage for us always, right? And if you see the what are the other relevant jobs equivalent of this SDET means, I can say like software engineer in test, QA engineer, QA automation engineer, or the test automation engineer. So here you can see the salary is around 39 and 20 and 34 and 32, excuse me, and 32. But if you see the software development engineering test, of course the pay scale is going to be high always. So it is a good idea to start, or to resume, or to continue your career, or for the growth opportunities, we have to go with the SDET now. Okay, I hope my points are getting to you clear. And if you have any queries in between, please feel free to use the chat box here. So probably I can just check and give you a reply back. Okay, so moving forward, we'll also see a demo. So demo will come back to this in a moment. Before that, let us give me one point here. So why Dev Alliance? Okay, so basically this is the thing you might guys have questions like this. So whatever I say, the salary part, the technical part, everything is fine. But you might have a small doubt like, why this guys, why we should join here. The first thing we like to mention here is the practical workshop. Now we know that this classroom based, if you have, that's going to be entirely different. But if you have this virtual classroom, that's going to be entirely different, right? But if you see other institute, probably they are not going to give you the practical workshop as we are going to do. So how the class is going to be like, for example, if you have this 3 or 4 hour session, probably I will just take the class for 2 hours, and I'll give you the rest of 2 hours to you to practical. So that's exactly like 50 to 60% of practical, and remainings are going to be a theoretical or the technical stuff, right? So that is one of the advantage I as a personal trainer, I train lots of guys in the corporate and as well as in the other institute. So I know how these institutes are doing or how what happens in the corporate. So to be honest, when I do the corporate training, I even don't like that, because in the corporate what happens is the corporate is going to pay the fees for the students. They don't pay, so they don't take that as serious as you guys are going to take, because of course you are going to join in your money, so you know what is the worth of your money for each and every penny, and of course that's going to be very interesting for you to learn and spend your quality time with us, right? And apart from that, of course, we have the small batch sizes. We don't take like 80 or 100 people into the same batches, and we take class for that. No, we don't do that. We have very small batches. If you have any queries regarding this batch sizes, probably you can just ask in the chat. Our panel will let you know what is the batch size it's going to be, right? But trust me, it's not going to be huge batch, not more even that 50 or something like that. It's going to be very small batch size where each and everyone will get individual responses. For example, if I'm taking class, and if you are going to give, see here our panel has replied that only maximum of 15. So that's really small batch size. 15 is a really small amount. If you are in a virtual class, I think that's pretty much very good, right? So if you have 15 minutes, of course, in the 2 hours of time, of course, I can respond to each and individual, everyone. So that's going to be very, very interesting for us to learn as well as to do the practice, right? And apart from that, what is the benefit? So these are the like the environment we are going to give you, the practical workshop or the batch size. But the content is very important. What is the content we are going to give you? The latest course curriculum which the SDT needs in the year of 2020. So if I taken the same demo session maybe in 2018, that's going to be entirely different. So at that point, we do not have this like SDT stuff. Of course, we have, but that was not in the hype, and we do not have like we have to learn the JSP or the some things like that in our SDT in our QA basically. But if you see, the course has been changed according to the industry standard to give the best quality and the best quantity of the course that you will get from us, and of course you want to implement all those in your project. So that is how the course has been entirely designed, okay? And of course learn from the industry experts and practitioners. So whoever the trainer we have, including me or the REST API trainer or the JSP trainer, so we have trainers based on their career and how they are working in the real time. For example, I'm a SDET and I'm very good in testing and writing code in Java or the Selenium sites. So I will be taking your Selenium portions. Whereas we have another person who is working on the expertise of the REST API, so he will come and take the REST classes for you. And we have another trainer who is going to take care of your JSP and the HTML, CSS, everything. So basically, we have three trainers here, and maybe it differs based on the your feedback as well. So if you just we are communicating, we are taking class now, and if you don't like this, then of course it can differ, nothing bad about it. So of course you can tell us, you can give us feedback, based on that we will change everything. So that's absolutely fine. We can talk about it, we can fix it, so that's not going to be any problem for us, right? So we have the expertise, and as well as the all the curriculum, whatever the curriculum we have built, it's going to be exactly matches. I can assure you that when you are going to go for an interview, probably you will get it definitely, right? And apart from the batch size, let us see in some of the demos. Before that, I just want to confirm you the dates. Like we have starting a batch in this 18th. So 18th is basically the Saturday, I believe. Yeah. So in the Saturday, we are starting the new batch 18th July to 4th October. So we have around 2 months, June, July. So we have around 3 months of time. And of course, the timings will be 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. Indian Standard Time. So you can calculate based on your country. And of course it's going to be weekend programs, because we know that you guys probably are already working on a as a testers or a QA engineer or any designation, and of course we value your time, so we want to bring it this in the weekend class, so that of course as I'm working professional, I can also cannot spend time on the weekdays, so I have to spare my weekends time, and then I have to give you the training, right? So this is why we have scheduled it in the weekends. I hope you're getting my point. Okay. Now we'll make it very simple. I'm just going to give you some of the demos. So don't worry, I'm not going to make you bored with the Java or the Selenium. Bored in the sense, of course, it's your first day where we are talking about the SDET, we are talking about the job opportunities and everything. And all of a sudden, if I just give you some lines of code you to execute, then probably it's not going to work in that way, right? So I will just make it very simple. I will just tell you like what are the stuffs we have so far. So these are the code base we have taken from the previous batch, and I will just go through and I will give you some of the demos like what are the stuffs we have done so far and how we are gonna accommodate all the stuffs to you guys as well. So in the upcoming batches, right? So here we have. So first, we'll tell you. I can tell you that I will teach you each and everything from the ground level. So I don't bother even if you know the entire Java thing and you're just coming to learn about the Selenium. I will not take only the Selenium for you. I will cover from the very basics. So I will tell you like each and everything. What is this? Why we have to use this, and how this is going to implement in your framework, or how the Selenium team has implemented in their code base like that. We don't teach only the code base or whatever we are going to write. Rather than, I will also tell you like what are the examples or what are the scenarios where Selenium team has also involved all this, right? So basically, we're gonna read the Selenium code and then we're gonna write our own code. So that is how the entire course is designed. And probably I can say that that's the best training you're gonna get it from any other institute, right? Now I'll just show you some of the pages like so we have this page object models is one of the very famous concept, and we have this BDD. So BDD is nothing but the Cucumber, where Cucumber is very famous nowadays. If you're working on Agile, probably you know that the Cucumber is the best, where we are going to use most of the time in the Agile, right? So I think there's a question from the audience. So okay, so let me show you some demos. So maybe I can just pull up my some of the code like Cucumber or something like that. Now I'm just going to open up this feature file. So feature file is nothing but a Cucumber file. So Cucumber is like your BDD. So we'll talk about this, what is BDD and why we need this BDD, everything in detail once we start our curriculum. But as of now, I'm just going to simple step test cases here. And if I'm not able to understand it as of now, that's 100% okay. So no need to worry about this. Don't worry about this coloring and everything. That's very simple. Now I can give you a small demo like how easy it's going to be, right? So for example, let's say that of course we guys are talking in English, and of course we know English, right? So here by this words, can you able to understand something like this keyword feature? So feature is basically like what we are going to do, and we have this background. So background, this like for each and every outline or every scenario, what we are going to do before it. So that is what we are saying in the background. And here we have this like user enter the username as. So this is very easy to understand, right? When the user enter the username, and when user enter the password, and the user is when user click on the login button, then the user should get logged in, right? So this is pretty much easy, and it is like self-explanatory. So you can understand by seeing this itself that okay, of course you didn't have the glimpse of the application, but still you are able to understand that what I'm trying to do here. So basically I'm trying to enter the username, enter the password, and then I'm clicking on the login button. And once I click on the login button, I'm checking whether the user has logged in successful or not, right? So this is what actually the BDD, behavior driven development. So this is how our actual code base is going to look like. Now, these are the feature file. Probably we'll get it from our business analyst or from our client or from our the product owner. And whatever the steps we are going to get that, we're going to convert all the steps in terms of Java. So let me give you a glimpse of that as well. To be honest, if you didn't understand this concept as of now, that's 100% okay. Don't think like that it's going to be very tough or it's not able to understand it like that. Trust me, it is the most easiest implementations you could ever learn. in the world of Java. So if I go back to my any of the step definition, and here you can see that I'm just going to remove the URL as of now. So yeah, so here we can see that we are able to do some of the functions like open the browser or the maximize or load the URL, and we are doing some technical stuff here. And after that, here you can see that we are entering the username, the password, and we are clicking on the login button, and then we are trying to check some statement, right? So this is how easy it's going to be look like. And do not worry, I will teach you each and every line. So it's not like I have written all the code already and I'm going to go through this. No, that is not going to happen in my classes. So how it's going to happen is like this each and every line. So if I have 3 lines of code or 30 lines or 300 lines of code, I'm going to write each and every line one by one, and I'm going to get clarify from you that okay, you have understood the concept. If you give me permission, then only I will move to the next line. That is how the class is designed, and that is how I am practiced to take my classes as well. So I think you are getting the point. And apart from this, of course, whenever we are going to run our test script, of course, we want the result, right? So I'm not going to execute now, but I will show you the report. How does this report is going to look like? We have two types of reports here. So if you talk in general in the world of testing, of course, everything is dependent based on the reports. Because of course, if your manager or the client say, we cannot say like that, okay, hey, I have done the tested and it passed. No, that's not going to work. Whether it's manual testing or the automation testing, of course, we should give some proof, right? So mostly we use this Excel sheet where we are going to give something like that, hey, this is what happened and this has been passed and something like that, right? So here you can see that we are able to do the reports like what is the pass, what is the fail, and it's going to hold all the screenshots. Like that, it's going to work for sure. Now let me show you another report. So that's going to be very interesting. So you will see how the in real time you use these reports and everything. Right, so this is how the examples of this. So here you can see the data admin has been entered, the password has been entered, the login has been clicked. And if I click on this here, you can see that the screenshot is going to come and appear on your screen. So you can do a presentation to the client saying that, hey, see, these are the stuff we have automated and it's working fine. And even if there is any failure, of course, we're gonna take screenshot of that as well. So these are very technical, and trust me, I'm not going to build this report for you. You're gonna build it for this report for yourself with the help of Mike. So what are the reports we are seeing now? Everything will be transferred to you. I mean, in the sense of code. So I will teach each and every line how we supposed to do the coding and what are the best practices and everything like that. So that is how the course has been designed. So if you check the syllabus, probably you know that we are also giving the reporter, and most of the institute don't do that, so they just skip. But as I said earlier, this is not like your conversion from manual tester to the QA, rather it is conversion of manual testers or QA to the SDET. So the program has designed in such a way that whatever the things we are going to deliver, everything will be like hands-on for you as well. So that is how it works. Okay, now so probably I like to take some of the questions from the chat section. So if you have any questions, maybe you can post it in the chat and I will take a look on that. I think almost you are getting all the answers. And yeah, if you have any queries regarding the technical, like you might have heard that words like BDD or the TestNG or the Cucumber or something like that, and you might wonder like whether you guys gonna cover it up. So you can ask me. Yes, nothing wrong about it. You can ask me. That is why the demo session has been conducted, and of course I will be happy to reply back. Okay, so there are no questions anymore. So probably I can give you some maybe a few demos if you just wanted. So I will show you the most demanding, like the page object model concept in the market. So that is how people just crazy about the page object model. Now you might heard that page object model several times, and you might heard that it's going to be take much lines of code and everything. Not like that exactly. So this is going to be very easy. I will make the stuff for you very easy. So trust me, it's going to be very easy for you to understand. Now I'm just showing you the glimpse of a page object model. How does this actually looks like? And if Okay, so we have a questions here. So how does the servlets help for QA? Also, JSP and servlets are outdated. No, it's not outdated. JSP and servlets are not outdated. Actually, it's still available in the market. So JSP and servlets are most of like your environment where, of course, we're gonna test it out. And how does this going to help in the QA in perspective means that is what I'm trying to say from the first point, that it's not about the QA, it's about the SDET. For example, if you are a QA, that means you are going to write only the test cases and you're going to convert that into the test script in the Selenium automation test script, and you're going to run that. Am I right? Yes. But in terms of SDET, we don't only do the testing, rather we have to contribute to the DevOps, and as well as we have to contribute to the development side as well, right? So once we have do this, if you learn the from the very basics like the JSP or the servlet, then we'll also understand the core logic behind the development, or how the applications are hosted in the environment, or maybe in the cloud platform or something like that. Then the fundamentals, we are going to get the fundamentals of the JSP. Now if you want learn one programming language, then learning another programming language is, of course, it's going to be like very handy for you to understand, right? So that is how this is going to be work. So don't assume that JSP is outdated or something like that. No, it is not. Even you can just open up your phone and check it in the Google, like how this is going to be work for you. Salesforce, of course, it's going to be helpful in the Salesforce application as well, because we are taking one of the real-time project. We are not going to use the Salesforce, but similar to the Salesforce, we are going to take the real-time project, and maybe in the week 3 itself, you will understand that how the application is. Like it is very similar to your Salesforce, and of course, I have worked on Salesforce, so I know what are the complexity of the Salesforce. Like some of the time the UI itself is very, it's look attractive, but to finding the elements or interacting with the elements are gonna challenging. So we have same similar kind of applications that we gonna use it for our entire course, and that's gonna help you to automate any of your Salesforce application. To give you honest answer, if I take the class with my application, and if you try to apply the same logic the very next day in your Salesforce application, 100% it's gonna work me. If don't work, you can ask me, I will definitely help you. Okay, I think I have answered your question. Now, which part of the development we done in Spring? Okay, so Spring probably you can take we can take these questions in that time, because Spring is will be taken by another trainer. So probably he gonna reply you maybe shortly, or maybe you can just call back to us. Probably we gonna reply you to that. Okay. So should we do the SGT advance once we are done with this training? Of course we should do so, because if you see, if you learn only the basic of Selenium, that will help you to become again the QA, not the SDET. So you can just go to Google and search the difference between QA and the SDET. Probably you will get a good amount of idea if you're not getting from what I'm trying to say here. So you can understand what is the difference between the QA and the SDET. And trust me, not only in terms of pay scale or the job opportunities, it is going to be more fun. So when we do some job, money doesn't matter all the time. It's all about the satisfaction. So if you done a job and if you get satisfied, and that is what your dream job is, it should be, right? No, it's not nothing like a dream company or dream job. So whatever the job we gonna do, and if we can use the 100% utilization there, then that is what your dream job or the dream destination, I can say. This is my personal thinking. Maybe you have different opinion, but I think that address your answer, right? And the REST API using Postman tool, do we need to write any code in Eclipse? Of course, we're gonna write code in Eclipse, but not for REST API. So REST API, of course, we'll write code, and for Postman, of course, we're gonna use this as a tool. So basically, Postman has a very good UI. So most of the time, you can write all your code within the Postman itself. So it's basically like API calling. So if you have a endpoint, probably we can just call it from the REST Postman itself. And of course, if you're going to move to the REST assured, then of course you have to write code. Now, my friend, don't worry about writing code in Eclipse. That's going to be very, very easy. Trust me, that's going to be very, very easy. Writing code is not like a big task. Okay, it's actually easy. The way you are going to learn maybe makes you tough, but trust me, if you're gonna learn from me, of course you're gonna enjoy it. Okay, so I'm just waiting for another questions. Please ask your questions. So it's fine. I find this very interesting. So even if you have any worries, like I am bit, I have like 5-10 years of experience. I'm not good at coding. Can I cope up? If you have questions like this, of course you can ask me. I will be happy to address you. Okay, so we have
So
got another.
guys, we are putting you guys on unmute, right? So you can ask the questions one by one. You need to unmute yourself, and you can ask the questions. Thank you so much.
Hello.
Yes, Hitesh, please.
Yeah, so I am Hitesh from Faridabad location, and right now working on as a Salesforce QA, and I have over 5+ year experience in Salesforce platform. So just I have basic knowledge of Selenium, and I also did some script for Selenium, but really I am stuck on how to find elements like lookup and buttons and drop down, this kind of. So just I want to know means how Selenium is supported to Salesforce application. Is it possible to automate each and every scenario? Hello, am I audible?
Yes, 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 yes. Yeah, sorry, I was in mute. Okay. So it doesn't matter what is the application. It's going to be either Selenium or I mean the Salesforce or the Amazon or the Flipkart. That doesn't really matter here. What is the matter is, as you said, like we have this drop downs or the buttons. So each and every buttons or the drop down are going to be exactly same in different website as well. The implementation may be different, the looks may be different, the colors may be different. But when we see in terms of Selenium, for Selenium, it's everything is like element, right? As you said, it's just a element. Now, if you're finding difficult to find the elements, probably I can say that, to be honest, don't get me wrong, you are writing your script, but without knowing how the script is going to execute, or maybe how the script is actually working internally, you are writing. Am I right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so that is the problem. See, so when we know the core fundamentals, when we understand the basics, like how the button is there, how the button we have to do the click, or we have to retrieve the text from the button, then if you learn from the basic fundamentals, then of course it's going to be very, very easy. And as I said, like earlier, we are going to give you application, real-time applications, that is going to be very similar to your Salesforce, not exactly Salesforce, but very similar. I can say at least 60% similar. So when we automate that kind of application, of course, you will get that, like how we gonna automate your Salesforce. Of course, you will get that idea. Is that clear?
Yes, yes, okay, thank you.
Yeah, welcome. Most welcome.
Hello.
Yes. Hello.
Yeah, hi.
Yes, actually,
I'm Saurabh.
Please one by one.
Uh, yeah, hi Kaushik. I'm Saurabh. I wanted to know that are we covering the mobile testing in this? And number two, what is the difference between this basic and the advanced SDET course?
Okay, so for your first questions, I can say no, we are not covering the mobile testing here, but of course there is a separate course for AppM. So if you are interested to learn on or you are going to implement on the mobile testing, probably you can take the AppM course. So again, AppM is built on top of Selenium. So if you know Selenium, probably you can work on AppM very comfortable. Okay, so the page object model or the Cucumber, everything is going to be very same in AppM as well, only the device is going to change. Here we are going to automate the browser, and there we are going to automate the device. So that is the only differences. And if you see the Appium, even if you go to the Appium website, you can see that Appium internally uses the Selenium. So if you know Selenium, of course you can learn the Appium as well. And coming back to your second question, how does this differs between the basic and the advanced? Like, so in the basic, we'll teach you each and everything about the Selenium, but not the framework. So if you want to take the framework like like the page object model or the DevOps like the Git integration or the Jenkins integrations, then we should go with the advanced course. Now, my personal recommendation, if you are going to um, go for a lunch or dinner, probably you're gonna enjoy the starter or the full meals. Then that's absolutely up to you, right? But we know, right? So we want to get the full meals, not only the starters, right?
Yeah, that explained. Thank
Just
you.
to just to add to what Kaushik has mentioned, so this is Deepak. So Saurabh, so if you are already aware of core Java and Selenium, and if you think you are having a scale of 8 out of 10 in those areas, then probably you can go for the advanced course. But if you want to fill in your gaps and if you want to know more about Java and Selenium from the basics, you should go for the basics first. Thank you.
Okay. I think, sir, you
yes.
got your
Hello.
answer, right? Yes, please.
So,
Yeah, Shubham
on
here. So yeah, so I have a question like I have already have an working experience on Selenium and Java and UFT also and VBScript as well. But I was currently looking out of like if I do the advanced course that you are offering, in that after doing that, can I go and apply for the product-based companies like which expect from the DS and algo part in the interviews? So on the preparation part, we have to more on concentration on the DS and algo first, and after the SDET part comes in the interview preparation, whatever I had read. So on what level it in the advanced course you guys prepare, and after doing that course, where I can go out and apply. So that's the basic.
Okay. So as I said, DS and algorithms, as of course we have to learn those, but this is specifically to in terms of Selenium. Like if we have a task like we just cannot write the Selenium test script, but instead of writing the main method also I can do. So since you are working on the Selenium, I can assume that you know about the main method and test ng. So basically we can write out a script in the main method and we can execute that as well, right? But that's not the case in terms of SDET. So we're gonna use the frameworks like the TestNG, unit testing framework like the TestNG, JUnit, or the apart from the BD, we're gonna use that. And to be specific to your answer, are we going to cover the data structure? No, we are not going to do that in this course. Maybe Deepak can answer on that. If you have separate course on the JS and algorithms, probably you can check out that.
Yeah, so the data structure is coming up very fast now, and most of the people who are knowing SDET a little bit, so they have started asking about the data structure algorithms. So we are in process of designing those courses, but as Kaushik mentioned, for this particular course, we are not covering those things as of now.
Okay, so in the advanced part, then it's only getting covered for the Selenium framework part and the integrations with the CI/CD or the DevOps tools that you are mentioning, right?
Yeah,
Yes,
So
and REST
exactly.
API,
that's the part
REST
only
API,
is there.
no, REST API, database testing, DevOps, and advanced Java, right? So if you see at the market, SDET is all about being a developer, right? So if you see from the Java perspective, we are teaching JSP, Servlet, HTML, CSS, and Spring as well. So that if you go out to the market, if you want to do something as a developer in the project, then you can start working directly into the Spring framework.
Okay.
Uh,
Steve.
Deepak, the flow chart or the career path which you showed was talking about advanced as well as the basic, or it was just basic?
So it is from the manual testing to the SDET, right? So it is covering both basic and advanced as
Okay,
such.
and the fees which you mentioned is for the both, right?
Absolutely, yes.
Oh, okay, because I got confused with this. So basically, this is the career path, and for this career path, you're saying it will have basic as well as advanced, which is a 3 months course, and the fee structure which you have mentioned, right?
Right. And this particular program is known as Certified SDT Professional. But as I
Okay,
mentioned earlier, to answer one of the attendees, I mentioned that if you are already aware of core Java and Selenium, then probably you can take the SDT Advanced course. SDT Advanced course starts 1.5 months after SDET Foundation. So you can consider in this way, SDET Professional is the combination of two programs. One is Foundation and another one is Advanced. If you don't know anything, you should start with the basics from the day one. If you know the Java or Selenium, you should start after 1.5 months, where we assume that you know these things and now you are ready to go with the Cucumber, Test, NG, JUnit, and all those stuff. And then
I
journey will
see.
start from this area to the complete this area. So you'll be reaching up to this
Okay,
area. Yeah,
okay, yeah. Thank you, Deepak. Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, Mr. Deepak, this is Abhishek. So
Mhm.
I'm working on a project using Selenium Java and for an application on for Salesforce application, but mainly it was on Classic only. So right now I've been given another project, but project would be covering both Classic and Light. So I wanted to ask that while designing the page object model, how can I make the elements both both facing to both classic and lightning? How can I make the elements so that I can work on both classic and lightning pages?
Okay, so when we say like classic and lightning, so are those are two different environments?
Yes, actually there are two environments for Salesforce. We have to switch. Uh, there's a option for switching to both classic and lightning, and both the environments have different page locators.
Okay, so if it's going to be entirely different locators means if the flow is exactly same, we can use the same page object models, and we have a concept of called a property file. So property file is basically is going to hold all your elements, and we can just call the property file in our script. Now, if we are going to run on the different environment, then probably we have to just switch the property file. So for example, if I say like let's assume that we have an application which is going to support in English language, and at the same time if another person is going to open from France, then the language will be automatically switched to French. Now if this kind of situation we have, then probably we are not going to write the elements two times. We're going to write the elements only one time, but with the help of property file, there we will manipulate the elements. So for whatever the elements we have for our French or the France website, we're going to keep it that, and for the English we will keep it in separate property file. Now in the script we will write only once the script, and we'll just switch between the properties file. So that should fix your problem.
So suppose if instead of using property file, I use a Java class. Okay. In the Java class, I'm mentioning the locators just as a page factory approach. I mentioned the locators above. So do I have to, just as you said, using two property file, instead, can I use two classes of Java, one Lightning, one Classic?
Yes, you can use the classes or the property file, that doesn't matter. You can use, of course you can use that, but since you say that page factory, so page factory doesn't allow you to do that. So there is two types. One is the page object model and another one is the page factory. So page factory means it's gonna work in different kind of, and page object is going to differ, works in different kind. So both are technically same. So let me just show you my screen. Probably I was covering this in my batch. So here if I go to my test script and if I go to this particular page, and here you can see that we are able to get the elements from this, right? So this is, we are just finding the elements. Now instead of this, if I use this place over here, so this is what page factory. So here you can see we are using this page factory dot init elements, and we're gonna take the elements from this particular page factory. Now if we have this page factory, we cannot do that. Selenium doesn't allow you to do that. So that's like static property. But of course, we have a way where we can write the Java code to use the page object model, not the page factory. But yes, but as you asked, like, can we have two classes or two property files? Yes, of course we can have.
Okay.
Yes, please go on.
Hello.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, pretty much, like I'm also like brand new to this. I'm trying to do some Java on my own, but I have no experience whatsoever. But like I was reading that we will start from the basics to advanced, correct?
Okay.
And my question is, so like the last tool that we're gonna learn, is it gonna be test ng, or what's the last tool or concept that we're gonna learn?
So what are the tools you're gonna learn?
Yeah, so we're starting with Java, and the last one that we're gonna learn is a Sickle. Is that the last one?
Yeah, Sickle is the last one, and in
Mhm.
between that we have also this REST API, this HTML basics, CSS basics, and JSP, and also we are gonna cover the Spring, and then we will, of course, we're gonna learn the Sickle.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. Yeah, most welcome. Okay, so any other questions, guys?
It's actually one more question.
Yes.
Like most of yeah, actually most of the interview whichever I get is mostly they are asking about Docker and AWS. So miss, would you be covering that as well in this?
No, in this course we don't have the Docker, but we have the basic, like how the Docker is going to be look like. So maybe I can just give a glimpse of that, but not entirely the Docker. Of course, we're gonna learn the Jenkins. So if you see, like in the world of in the world of DevOps, Jenkins is the starting portion. So once we are familiar with the Jenkins, probably we can catch up with the Docker or the Kubernetes or the AWS or the clusters like that.
Okay, thank you.
And Hitesh, we are having a separate session on Docker and Kubernetes because these are oceans, and DevOps is just an overview of how this particular collaboration happens between the development team and the operations team. But if you want to know more about Docker and Kubernetes, definitely you can write back to us and we will definitely help you out on that area. Thank you.
Okay, sure, thank you.
Hi Deepak, Shubham here. Just last question from my end. It's like after doing the advanced course, how you guys prepare us for doing getting into the product-based companies, or what I will get insight from the course, so that can I be helpful for me to get into the one of the product companies, because that's my goal for next year, maybe.
Sure. So, Shubham, there are a couple of things in that. So, one, Koshik has repeatedly mentioned about that, right? So, our all programs are completely hands-on, right? So, you will be practicing and you will be gaining confidence in automating the scripts. That is the first thing. And after this training and practice is over from your side, we help you in resume building. We help you in getting the mock interviews done, and we also help you in finding the job opportunities. So we are a group of 6,000 professionals who are from the HR and the recruitment agencies, which are helping people to get the jobs, right? So we are not helping people to crack the interviews, but we are definitely providing them the opportunity to apply into the major MNCs, product-based companies, and software industry. So that's what it is completely all about. Does that answer
Thank
your
you, Deep.
question, Shubham?
Thank you.
Sure, thank you. So guys, we are on top of the hour, right? And we can take the last question in interest of the time and considering the late night for India. So this is the last question. Anyone can ask that question, please. Else we'll wrap up this session.
One question I wanted to ask, like, what's the use of Spring and JSP? Because most of the automation, like we are having everything else is considered, but why Spring and JSP in it?
All right. So I can take this question, Kaushik, if you're fine.
Yeah,
Uh,
sure.
Yeah, so what is happening, right? So as we are mentioning, SDET is not only about testing, Hitesh. It is about the development as well, like, right? So if you're a manual tester, say, so one aspect that you will be understanding and learning about the automation engineer, but at the same time, you should also acquire the capability of being a developer. Spring being the backbone in Java industry these days, and this is one of the most used frameworks in the industry. That's why we, to give a flavor of the development world, we teach Spring. And since Spring has arose from this JSP and servlet, that is the reason we are also making a base of JSP into it.
Okay, that I appreciate it, that you are teaching as a part of the development process as well. But since you know that right now the technology is also switching to AI and machine language, and the most of the interview and the most of the requirements they are asking is Selenium and Python. So, but and so that so the technology is changing rapidly, but not with Java as well, because Selenium supports each and every language like Ruby, Python, and now the technology is shifting to Python. So that's one of my queries.
Yeah, so it is about the way back, we used to learn C and C++, right? And then we moved to Java, and now the people are asking for Python. As Kaushik also mentioned in his one of the answers, right? It is just about learning the concepts, right? Changing the language is just about changing the syntax, and Python is very, very easy to learn. And if you have learned Java, then you can learn Python. But our concept and our thought should be to learn how to apply those concepts. All the tools are similar, all the languages are similar.
Okay. Yes, I understand. Thank you.
Sure. All right, guys. So if you have any specific question, you can write back to us at training@devlabsalliance.com, and we would be more than happy to answer those questions. And this is the end of this session. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Kaushik. Thank you, everyone. And you have a wonderful day and evening. Thank you. Take care.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for attending on Sunday. So I hope you have get clarified all your answers, and maybe we'll see on the next week courses. Thanks, guys. Thanks.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Take. Bye bye.